Hi, I'm Justin from Justin Button Electrical. Thanks for joining us today. We are working on a project for Bicester Town Council at the Garth building. We've been working here now for about 6 weeks and we've basically been rewiring the entire property, or making a start with it. We've so far completed certain areas of the building. So let's head inside and take a look at what our engineers are getting up to today. Let's go. So we're now at Garth House within Garth Park, where our engineers are carrying out some work. We're currently completing a full rewire of the property. So let's take a look at what they're doing today. Let's go. So we're just watching what our engineers are doing at the moment. They're currently routing cabling, which is down at the main distribution board, which we'll take a look at shortly. They're having to route through a lot of wiring in this area, where there was some existing routing of the cables, which are still in service. They're the ones that we're slowly replacing. And they're just being very, very careful of passing the cables through the holes and making sure it's all nice, neat and tidy, and to make sure there's no damage caused to the cables while they're being installed. It's quite easy to damage cabling if you're rushing and pulling it quite fast and hard. You can end up damaging the cable, and you often won't know that damage has been done until you come to commission and test the system. So yeah, some really careful work being taken place here, and they're just dropping cable down now to the other engineer that's on the floor below. So in this floor space, there is, these here are some of the remaining existing wiring, which is still in service. It's still being used to power some of the circuits that we haven't yet got to. All the new wiring is this white cable. It looks slightly different to these traditional PVC cables, and the reason being that this cabling here is LSF, which is a low smoke graded cable, which is resistant to heat and fire damage, so it's safer in the event of a fire. So we're having to be very careful here because there's lots of existing stuff that having to work around. There's lots of existing routes through the joists. We've been careful not to make many more holes, just so that we keep the integrity of the joists as best as possible. And yeah, it's just probably a few more weeks in this area to get the rest of the cabling through. And this whole column of wiring is picking up the floor up here and the rooms down below. So there's going to be lots of circuits passing through here when this is done. So in here, this is the origin of where all the wiring is fed from. So here is some of the new cabling that's been dropped down. This whole cupboard section is the distribution board area, and this is where all the power comes from. So when all the wiring is completed, down at all the circuits, which is going to be all the sockets and lighting and things like that, this is where all the cabling will be terminated off into the distribution board. And one of the distribution boards are in this cupboard here. So eventually these cables will be terminated off into here and allocated into each of their own circuits. There's also going to be an additional distribution board fitted here because we're introducing a lot more new wiring as well. We're now on the ground floor, which is below the area where the engineers are working, and that's where the row of wiring is in the floor space above here, which we see above. And the cable that they're pushing through is this cable here, and this forms part of the lighting circuit on the ground floor in this area. So we've had a look round at what the engineers have been doing today. We'll come back at a later date and see where they've got up to with completing the work, and at that point we'll hopefully see some sockets and switches fitted and some light fittings installed, and we can go from there. So if you enjoyed the video today, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you again soon.